Hello, everybody. I want to run you through the overall results of the general election yesterday. It's not because I think they are important. It's just actually to show you that they are not important. And the ultimate result is not yet out, but I'm going to run you through the preliminary results as delivered per Google. So if you type like seats, federal government, parliament, or in German, like in Bundestag, Google will give you the seats that have been won by the various parties each. The leading party is going to be the Social Democrats with 206 seats. Then there is the party of Angela Merkel, that has no purpose, no purpose party, 196 seats. Then there's the Green Party setting the overall agenda. Right now, it's the big Great Reset Party. It's the culturally dominant party. It's basically the AOC spectrum, so to say. And then there is the pseudo-libertarian FDP, who are now also basically they are all proxies now at this point, who used to pretend that they were for free market economy, etc., but now they are talking about the climate and about shutting down all power stations and replace that with hope. The FDP have won 92 seats. The AfD have won 83 seats. And then there is the SED. They are now called Die Linke. They have won 39 seats. I must be very careful because I say the SED and here it says Die Linke, and I don't want to be called out by YouTube or other places for giving wrong information. Well, Die Linke is the renamed SED. The SED is famous for having run the dictatorship in East Germany in collaboration with the Soviet Union. One of the key figures, Gregor Gysi, worked really hard actually to convince everybody in the SED not to dissolve the party and instead to simply rename the party. By this, they could effectively keep the stolen property, the wealth they have collected through their collectivizations from the people, and they could keep that money by simply renaming themselves. First it was PDS or PDS Linkspartei. I don't know. They went through a number of renames, and then they merged with a fringe party. That's just also another measure to obfuscate the tracks. That was much later, actually. They merged with a splinter party that absolutely nobody voted for and nobody really knew before they merged. And this is to give the impression that they were a different party, but that splinter party barely had any seats, had any money or anything. That was really just for some of these people to say, well, we are not really the same party. Well, they still have the property. They have still substantial membership overlap with the old SED party as they were running the dictatorship. So it is the same party, but it is not talked about that fact very, very often. Okay, so they are in the parliament at 30 with 39 seats. Now that's quite interesting because I received an email by YouTube. I'm going to read that in a moment to you. And in that email, they said, I shall not give misinformation about the validity of that election. So I shall not say that there's either fraud or errors that could have led to substantial changes in the outcome. And before today, I thought, you know what, these elections don't have any effect whatsoever. I mean, look at those seats. I mean, do you know what that means? I'm sure you will find a lot of people who will say, you know, if that group, the red group, works together with that yellow group and works together with that green group, then blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it just really means nothing. They're going to work down the overall Green Party agenda. Some of these parties, like the CDU, are more reserved in saying, well, we are working down the lists more slowly of these unpleasant policies. The Green Party, they go out of the gate to say we will be the fastest running down our list. of policies, but there's no policy divergence, no pluralism as such, with the exception of this blue little widget here. Even the SED is now all into environmentalism, supposedly. Of course, they really only care about control, about seats, and so this is a fig leaf for them to be part of the overall game. But it is a unison party, and then there's the AfD. The election isn't about electing anything or having a choice. It is basically just about affirmation of what's going to happen anyways. And the election system, if you have watched my video on the female electoral vote composition, or the proposal by Markus Söder to compose the CSU electoral list that's part of that black block here, with half women, half men. I explain in more detail how the electoral process works. For those who are already familiar with Russian politics, it's actually the way the State Duma is elected. So if you're already familiar with the Russian system, you know that there is a threshold of 5%, and there is half of the seats being reserved for the electoral list, and then there is this strange compromise between the directly elected representatives and all these list candidates. I don't even know what the differences are between our system and the Russian system, but it is very close. Okay, they are very close systems. We are much closer to what everybody knows is a dictatorship in Russia than we are to Western systems like Great Britain or Canada or France, for example. So YouTube asked me not to say that any fraud, any error could have changed a big deal of that outcome. And I agree, I won't say it because there's really nothing you can do to change the overall drama that's going to unfold right now. And this morning I thought maybe, that 5% threshold may be a reason why voter fraud may have an impact or not. And it is because the SED, the Communist Party that ran the dictatorship, is so close to 5%. But as I've just read out to you, they are getting seats, and interestingly enough, they don't even surpass the threshold. They are slightly below it. I think now it's about 4.9%. I don't know. They have not stopped counting. Maybe they will even surpass it, but it doesn't really matter because there is a law, apparently. I've just learned about today that ensures if any party has gained 3 direct constituencies in the normal vote, like voted like the English system, if they gain 3 seats in the parliament, all the other candidates from the list magic seats, they also get into the parliament. So they get a lot of seats because there are at least three strongholds in East Germany where they held the power for decades. And this is why they are represented in parliament, and for that reason it does not matter if they are below 5% or not. And the more absurd is YouTube's letter to me. As a consequence, it says, "Hi, Benjamin Goldstein. We are reaching out to inform you about our elections misinformation policies. We will be applying our election integrity policy to false claims regarding the outcome of the German federal election once the final results are determined by the federal returning officer." I'm not even sure what that is. Key information to know about the election integrity policy: content advancing false claims that widespread fraud, error, or glitches change the outcome of the German federal election will be removed from YouTube. This applies to false claims concerning the outcome of the German parliamentary elections, the formation of the new government. That will take weeks, so there's no way we can know anything, anything but speculation. or the election and appointment of the next German chancellor. YouTube videos that link to content containing false election outcome claims of YouTube, e.g. on a third-party video website, will also be removed. This policy will only be applied to videos uploaded to YouTube on or after the date on which the final results are determined by the federal returning officer. We want to give creators a time to get familiar with this update, so we'll be removing videos that violate this policy without giving a strike to the channel for 30 days after the day the results are determined. That sentence doesn't really make sense in combination with the previous sentence, does it? Either it is really only about videos that have been uploaded immediately or a day after the election, or and then, you know, are they removed, or are they just blocked for 30 days? And if it's 30 days, what happens then? Are they just reinstated? What does it even mean? You can read more about our election misinformation policies on YouTube Help Center and blah blah blah. I didn't even know what they fear, because the chancellor is not voted. The chancellor is a delegate of the parliament, and we will have to wait for weeks to have that decided. All the ministerial positions are also decided by the parliament and not by the people. We just cast our votes and go through a lengthy, weird process, and nobody knows really where the seats come from, or at least, you know, most citizens don't know where the seats come from, and you have a lot of people whose faces you don't know, who are not accountable to any constituency, and they just go into strange negotiations for weeks on end, and then they will return a chancellor, and he will just run down the overall globalist agenda without us having any tools to kind of change our destiny, or to kind of rule ourselves as a democracy. So I don't know what they actually fear, because again, this is the result. The result is some some red, some black, some green, some yellow, some blue, some SED red, and nobody can say what it means outside of that they are going to run through the overall agenda as predicted. That's all. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.